All right, The Blackwater Vampire.
Ooh.
This is a really cool movie.
Yeah.
I'll say this. This is pretty much, I don't even need to tell you synopsis all that much. I can just tell you this. This is as if, like, if you took the Blair Witch Project and you actually got to see the Blair Witch,
Yeah.
but the Blair Witch was a vampire.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Right?
It's a very similar concept where you have a group of people who are going hiking in the woods, filming a documentary, and stuff happens
On
to
like
them.
a local legend where
On
people
local
have died
legends.
in the past. Now in this one, there's a dead body that turns up every 10 years, like on the day of, and there's this local guy who was convicted for the murders of these people. And this girl is just kind of obsessed with it. And she wants to go out and she doesn't believe he did it. So they go out and are looking for the truth. And they're trying to find the location where the last body was found and whatnot. And, there's some things set up in the film that they do kind of make you go, okay, like, they didn't know how else to introduce that plot line. They just had to say this. And that's stuff that, like, a filmmaker or, like, a film enthusiast who's watched way too many things is going to pick up on.
Yeah,
Where I'm sitting there like, they have to tell you that this character has this attribute.
Right.
But they don't know how else to do it. So they're just like, this.
Yeah, I think.
And I had to point it out instantly, like, well, you know what that means, and like that's gonna come back into the film, and it's like, I honestly don't know how else you announce such a thing in the movie.
I don't either, and I think that it's totally fine. It's fine. As you said,
it's not a knock at all. It's just me being me.
Exactly, it's something that people who are like very critical when they watch movies and have seen a lot of the same plot points over and over again will notice.
Sure.
But I was really into the movie. Like, I think the highlight for sure is the character effects for the vampire.
Sure.
We were not expecting it to be as, like,
prominently on screen.
And, like, visible and so well done. Like, genuinely really creepy looking.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like, I was super into everything. Like, I mean, I think that they did a great job leading up to it, but the, like, last act, especially when things start getting, like, wild, was really awesome.
Yeah, it held my attention the whole time. I was totally into the characters. I was totally into the build up. There's some creepy things that are going on. Something with an old woman.
Oh yeah.
And I thought one of the cool things about these types of films, when done successfully, and I'm not sure how they get these people, but like the addition of like the local residents.
Yes.
Who are being interviewed for the documentary, like, those guys sell the film so well, and I don't feel like they get enough credit. I feel like the townsfolk of Burkittsville, right, and like the people in this that are being interviewed, they're kind of like the unsung heroes of the believability that is like initial.
Yes.
Right? Like, you get your main characters and you're kind of there and you're like, okay, like, I know what I'm supposed to get out of these people and I know the journey I'm supposed to go on with them. But there's this added layer of realism when you bring in kind of like these quick cameo type performances from very real people. Right? And I really, really enjoyed that about this one and Blair Witch Project, of course, and plenty of others, but like, they did a really good job with that. And this film is very intriguing and interesting and drives you along until the last act, which is where everything really starts to happen. And I could see some people rolling their eyes at the very end. I love
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like so big on that.
Because I'm just, this shit, like, guys, I've said this before, found footage, and it's fine if you totally make it real. But, like, at this point in the movie, dude, it's not real. Like, it's not real, and your brain has already checked out that, like, okay, there's not a vampire that's being caught on camera and being shown to me. Like, maybe some of these found footage films can really keep your suspension of disbelief at a place where you're like, oh man, like, while you're watching, you're like, this is so real.
Sure.
This film just, it gets away from that once, of course, it shows the vampire.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, fine. Now we're there. Let's just go all in. And I feel like the last 30 seconds of this movie is them just being like, we're all in.
It was great.
And I love it.
It has such a good payoff. And, like, honestly, like, found footage is such an appealing, like, method of filming because it puts you in the action of what's happening. So you can be as crazy as you want to be with found footage. But obviously, as you were saying, there are some people who want it to be, like, really realistic. And that's, like, more, like, the more believable, the scarier it is to them. But I think, especially lately with how many found footage films we're watching every day, we're really excited to see, like, just the crazier stuff. That's done well, of course, but...
I feel like, we have not talked about my makeup in every video. And
we haven't.
People are going to be like, what? That's okay. It's actually funnier for you guys to just be like, why is he wearing that? But, I mean... I feel like we've been very successful with the found footage that we've watched. We've watched a lot of new stuff. And I feel like I've liked the majority of it.
I agree.
There's been a hollow here and there, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, there's been some really cool ones. And it's going to be really fun to put together this new list of lesser known found footage films people should watch. Because I feel like we should have 10 by now. After the 4 or 5 I had before we started this, we should have 5 more. So, very successful. I thought this was really good. It's on Tubi.
Yes.
Shocking, right?
Tubi.
But Tubi or not Tubi, Tubi on this one.
Tubi.
That's how we should rate these.
To be or not to be?
Yeah.
Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi. This has a 1.2 lower rating than Hollow.
Oh my god.
This is 10 times the film.
So much
This is
better.
10 times the film. This is a cool film. And great effects and a cool payoff. Very into it. If you're looking for a vampire found footage film, if you're like if you're watching the Blair Witch and you're like, man, I just wanted to see something. I just wanted a payoff. I want something to happen. Here you go.
This is it. Yeah.
It's a cool movie. Definitely watch it. All right. Moving on. Bye.
Bye.